Hello and welcome back. In today's video, I'm here to give you my thoughts on the 4-0 away defeat to Burnley. The scoreline is going to impact these group of players so much. The goal difference has been impacted, but after beating Portsmouth last week, we had some confidence going into this game, and that confidence has definitely gone. Our mentality is already bad enough, and I just think a scoreline like that has just made it worse. I don't know if these group of players can put the result to one side, go to Cardiff away from home and get the 3 points. That's a must-win game. If we want to stay up in the Championship, we've got to go to Cardiff and get the 3 points. But I don't know if these group of players can do it. And I don't know if they can do it without Cal Naismith. And we are going to have to talk about Cal Naismith, because him getting sent off played a part in how the game went. Because with 11 players, it's already a tough ask to get a positive result away to Burnley, but with 10 players it then becomes pretty much impossible, especially with our group of players. And the moment I saw that red card come out was the moment I knew we lost the game. And it's sad that as a supporter I feel like that when I see a red card, because I just know these group of players cannot defend for 70 minutes. They definitely won't be able to figure out a way to win, and it kind of just kills any momentum which we were trying to build. Now, the first 20 minutes there was a clear game plan, and that came from the starting 11 which Matt Bloomfield picked. Elijah Adebayo came in to start up top on his own, and I do think as a striker he is much better up top on his own when he's not partnered up with Morris or anyone else. He normally does better when he's up top on his own. And then we packed out the midfield by bringing in Zach Nelson. And the game plan, in my opinion, was to pack out that midfield, because Burnley, before today's game, do struggle to break teams down. It's why they've drawn 8 games at home all season, and it's why they struggled to get that second goal in games. But today they found it extremely easy. But yeah, that was the reason behind it. And then when we had possession of the ball, it was to progress up the pitch as much, when the moment was right. And yeah, just within the midfield with Asgard, Clark, Walsh, Zach Nelson, you like to think out of all the players within our squad, they are the 4 most comfortable with the ball at feet. And then yeah, progress up the pitch that way. And for 20 minutes before Cal Naismith got sent off, it was working because we weren't losing the game. But then we did get the first yellow card for Cal Naismith, and I don't think it's a yellow card. I don't understand why it's a yellow card. Now, it might be a foul, but at most it's a foul. It's not a yellow card. Now, Cal Naismith does touch the ball, but he also does touch the player, so I can understand the referee giving a foul. But it's definitely not a yellow card. And when you give a yellow card like that, you then have to be consistent. And then 5 minutes later, Adebayo on the left side was progressing with the ball. He was running towards goal, and then Cullen brings him down. That's a yellow card. If you're going to give one a yellow card, then both are a yellow card. And he doesn't give Cullen that yellow card. And I'm like, at least be consistent. I don't mind you giving out yellow cards, but be consistent with it. So you think, right, okay, our most experienced player in defence, the one that's been a leader, the one that's been amazing since we've re-signed him, you like to think he uses his brain, he doesn't make any stupid decisions and dive in on a challenge and get a second yellow card. And then what happens, 7 minutes later after picking up his first yellow card, he dives in on a Burnley player. He might have touched the ball, but you've seen those types of challenges happen every single week in the Championship, in football in general, and players get yellow carded nowadays for it. Despite touching the ball and going for a player, they get yellow carded now. And you gave the referee a decision to make. Now, it might be 2 soft yellow cards, but the second one should never have happened. If Cal Naismith just used his brain and didn't dive in, it was so stupid, because the moment he got that second yellow was the moment the game was done and dusted. The first yellow card as well, I don't know if anyone realised, but Makoso actually headed the ball back to Naismith, but the header was really poor. He didn't put enough power into the header, and that's why when the Burnley player kind of tried to get in front of Cal Naismith for that first challenge, that's why the referee ended up, well, that's why Cal Naismith was, it looked like he was late to it, because there wasn't enough power in the original ball towards him in order for us to keep possession. So if Makosso actually added a little bit more power to the header, we might have not have got that first yellow card. But despite saying that, the second one should never have happened. Cal Naismith is more than experienced to not dive in, and he really did cost us the game. And it's a shame really, because we've been praising him, but when he makes mistakes, you've got to be really honest and just say, well, look, you've cost us the 3 points there due to the fact that you've dived in. We can blame the referee all we want, and I think for every, well, apart from the fourth goal, I think for the first 3 goals there was question marks on all 3. Another ball being on the pitch, a handball on Anthony. I didn't notice the second ball on the pitch. I feel like we're asking for too much there. But the handball on Anthony for the goal, I can't remember if it was for the first or second. To be honest with you, watching the game was a bit of a blur, because all I did was looking up and I just kept seeing Burnley in possession of the ball. And I just didn't remember when we actually touched it. So I can't really recall when certain things were happening, because it literally was just a blur to me when watching. Burnley, of course, deserved to win the game, no problems there. With 11 players on the pitch, they were just dominating us, using their quality. But the moment we went down to 10 men, we kind of packed out the midfield still, because Walsh was still on the pitch. But then we made a really strange tactical decision. We took off a midfielder off to bring on McGuinness, and I felt that just allowed Burnley to pile on the pressure. And the moment McGuinness came on the pitch, I did notice Burnley were just getting into the attacking half a lot easier. They were able to create more problems against us, and we weren't able to deal with it. And I felt that was a poor mistake tactically from the coaching staff to take off Walsh, because at least with Walsh he retains possession of the ball. When you take him off and bring McGuinness on, I feel like you're just inviting more pressure. We've got 70 minutes with 10 men. We're not going to stop Burnley from attacking. We've got to realise that, but we also need to show a little bit of attacking threat ourselves. And that first half was absolutely terrible going forward. We never looked like we were going to score. We didn't even have a shot at goal. It was terrible, that first half. And it's spineless from the group of players. I know you've got 10 players on the pitch. I know you're 1 man down. But not to have a shot at goal until the 65th minute is a disgrace. And we only got that due to a mistake by the Burnley defence. And I think they got a little bit too, they were getting a bit too comfortable. They knew the game was done and dusted at half time. They knew they were walking away with the 3 points, and they got a bit too comfortable there, and that's why you saw 1 or 2 mistakes. And we did have a period in the second half for about 5 to 10 minutes where we might have scored a goal, and that came through Brown. I do think he actually should have scored that, where he tested Trafford there and got our first shot on target after 65 minutes. But back to the tactical decision, bringing on McGuinness just invited pressure, and I thought it was the wrong decision. And the first goal, there was a ball into the 6-yard box, and McGuinness puts it into the back of his own net. But he looks at Thomas, because he's expecting our goalkeeper to communicate with him. There's definitely a lack of communication there. From the replay which I saw, he's got his arms out thinking, why have you not come for that? Because in my opinion, if you put a ball in the 6-yard box, your goalkeeper's got to deal with it. Any cross in the 6-yard box, keeper's got to deal with it, and he did not deal with it. And from that moment that first goal went in, we knew a second was coming, and we knew eventually a third and a fourth would of course come, because we just don't know how to defend. Yes, there might have been a ball on the pitch for one of the goals. Yes, the ball did hit Anthony's hand. I don't think that is a foul. Yes, if VAR was in the Championship, that goal wouldn't have counted. I do think it's a stupid rule, but Anthony didn't mean to do that. It just ricocheted off the player onto his hand. He's in a natural position for me, so the goal should have counted like it did. No problems there. Going at half time, come back out for the second half, same thing happens again. The third goal, there's talk about it. The ball was completely off the line. From the angles which I saw, I couldn't tell you if the ball was completely out or not. It was a tight call, but they kept with the on-field decision. But with all of the goals, if I'm being honest with you, we had so many players in the box. We've got so many players back. But yet Burnley is still figuring out ways to score goals because we just ball watch. We don't actually mark players. It's pointless. And I just felt when we went in at half time, why don't we just go all out attack in the second half? Because what else do we have to lose? We knew the game was done and dusted at half time. So why don't we just go all out attack? We're 2-0 down, just pile on the pressure, just keep Burnley as much in their half as much as possible and just see what happens. Because there's no point trying to defend because we lost anyway and we lost 4-0. Imagine if we just put loads of attacking players on and just went, you know what, go for it. See what happens. But of course, we weren't going to do that, was we? That's just me thinking mentally because I was going through the emotions. But the second half, that third goal, question marks over it. And then we had that good spell. Brown had a shot, a goal. I felt we could have done better. I do think we should have got a penalty when we were 3-0 down. Makoso went for a head-in, it's a free kick to us. We put a ball in. Makoso goes up for the header, but the Burnley player brings his foot up. It's a high foot. It's a penalty. Clear and obvious. I don't understand how the referee's not, spotted that. Clear and obvious penalty for me. It won't make any difference at all to the scoreline, but it's definitely a penalty. But then, last kick of the game, Barnes gets the 4th goal. It just happens. It happens with us because we don't know how to defend. All the goals were so badly, it was poor defending. A massive difference from last weekend against Portsmouth. And we've now got to try and go to Cardiff and win. Derby won at home against Blackburn. That is a problem for us. We just got to figure out how to put this scoreline to one side and win a game of football, and we've also got to do it without Cal Naismith as he's going to be suspended for the game against Cardiff. At least he's back though for Middlesbrough. At least it's only a 1-game suspension. Lots of question marks before the Burnley game was, can Cal Naismith handle 3 games in 1 week? Well, he's only going to have to handle 2, so it's okay. Honestly, I went through the emotions and I feel sorry for all the fans that have been travelling up and down the country away from home this season. I've done over 10 games now and I've decided I've had enough and I'm not going to any more away games this season until we at least improve away from home. But that is the end of this match reaction. Unfortunately, it's another defeat. We kind of felt like we were going to lose before the game, but we didn't expect it to be like it was. But it's the same story with us, unfortunately. So yeah, drop a like on today's video. I am live streaming tomorrow morning at 10:30, so if you are around in the morning, I will be trying my best to break down this game as much as possible during that live stream, and I will answer any live football questions you have got for me. Drop a comment on your thoughts about the game. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Follow me across all my social media if you haven't done already, and I'll see you guys in my next video.